Welcome back to Horn Takes, your Texas football and baseball talk destination. I am Sean Redfern. It is Tuesday. Hope you guys had a good Veterans Day yesterday for all the veterans out there. If you're not a veteran, I hope you thanked a veteran for their service. Today we will do the deep dive on this Arkansas offense. Check us out on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube at Horn Takes. If you just like to listen to podcasts, you can do that too at Apple Podcast, iHeart Podcast, Spotify Podcasts, pretty much anywhere they do podcasts. You can also find us at horntakespodcast.buzzsprout.com. All the episodes go up there. Let's get into it, folks. The deep dive on this Arkansas offense. First-year offensive coordinator Bobby Petrino brings kind of a high-flying hog offense to Fayetteville. Petrino used to be the head coach there at Arkansas. Most recently was the offensive coordinator at Texas A&M under Jimbo Fisher. A lot of experience Bobby Petrino has calling offenses, coaching teams. That's a big asset to Coach Pittman there at Arkansas. And the offense has played really well this year. They're led by redshirt junior quarterback Talon Green. Talon Green is a big man, folks. This guy is 6'6", 230. That's what he's listed. I'm not trying to compare him to Vince Young, like physically. Like, I'm not saying this dude is Vince Young. I'm just saying he looks a lot like watching Vince Young early in his career. Vince Young kind of got a little bigger later on in his career. And I don't mean fat. He just got bigger. He just filled out, grew up. But earlier in his career, skinny guy. And that's kind of what Talon Green looks like to me. Just a early version of Vince Young there at Texas. He's been injured since the first half of Arkansas's game with Ole Miss 2 weeks ago. He hurt his knee on a scramble. He did come back into the game, but he did not return in the second half. You could tell too. He was sort of noticeably injured, limpy. He would get up after plays and would look tender, But they say he's practiced ever since. He's expected to play on Saturday, so I don't expect there to be any wrinkles for Texas in terms of quarterback. Green is 161 completions for 263 attempts, 61% passing, a tick over 2,200 yards, 15 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He's also the Hogs' leader in rushing attempts with 105. He's got 411 yards on the ground, 3.9 yards per carry, and 5 touchdowns on the ground. To me, we saw this with Vanderbilt and Pavia. I think this this Arkansas offense sort of runs through Talon Green. They got an ex-Texas QB and Utah running back, Jaquindon Jackson, leading the running back room for the Hogs. He's got 104 carries for 592 yards. That is 5.7 yards per carry, and he's got 10 touchdowns on the ground. The other thing he does out of the backfield pretty well, catch the ball. He's got 11 catches for 125 yards. He did not play, that I noticed, in that Ole Miss game. So I don't know if he's hurt, if he was hurt. I don't know. Braden Russell and Rashad Dubinion, I probably screwed that up. Those two guys do the bulk of the backup work for Arkansas at running back. And I believe it's Braden Russell. I'm probably wrong on this too. One of them is a big man. They have combined for 491 yards and 4 touchdowns. And their yards per carry average is really good. 6.5 for Braden Russell, 5.8 for Rashad Dubinion. So this rushing attack for Arkansas, pretty salty. You got 3 backs over 5.7 yards per carry. Already up over 1,000 yards combined. And then you toss in that 411 that Talon Green has. And Talon Green's been hurt a lot this year too, folks. Like, he has not played a full season. you're sitting at like 1,500, 1,600 yards on the ground already. Andrew Armstrong and Isaiah Satania, those are the two biggest receiving threats. We say big in terms of catches and yards. Armstrong with 55 for 187 yards and a touchdown, 157 yards and a touchdown. Satania, a little smaller guy, 5'11, with 29 catches for 407 yards and a touchdown. And then the big tight end, Luke Haas, he leads the Hogs in catches, touchdown catches, with 4. He's got 19 catches for 267 yards on the season. He's a good player. I noticed him not only making some catches in that Ole Miss game, but he's a pretty damn good blocker as well. Plus player for me. And then you got Tyrone Broden routing out the receiving group, the main part of the receiving group. They got some other guys, but these are the guys that do most of the work. He's got 15 catches, 197 yards, and a touchdown. This is a really big group. Armstrong is 6'4", over 200 pounds. Broden, 6'7", over 200 pounds. As we said, Satania is a little smaller guy, 5'11", around 200 pounds. But those other two guys, pretty large. Pretty large. So physically, this is a really physically imposing set of skill guys for this Arkansas team. Their back's got some beef on them. They're some big kids. They also have a big offensive line blocking in front of them. They're anchored at left tackle by Fernando Carmona. He's 6'5", 322 pounds. He's a redshirt junior transfer from San Jose State. He started every game at San Jose State at left tackle his redshirt freshman year and his redshirt sophomore year. So he's a guy that's got a lot of experience. He's already been the SEC Offensive Lineman of the Week in 2024, so he's a good player as well. Move over to left guard. You got Keyshawn Blackstock. This guy is 6'5", 319 pounds. Redshirt junior. He transferred from Michigan State. Before that, he was a junior college, and he was the number 1 rated junior college offensive lineman in the transfer portal in 2022. He's got a lot of experience. He didn't play a lot at Michigan State. He played some. But I'm sure he played a whole hell of a lot his first 2 seasons at junior college. So he's got some experience, but he's still probably lacking some of the D1 big-time experience. But obviously good enough to get a start at the University of Arkansas. Addison Nicholas is at center, 6'5", 329 pounds. He is a redshirt sophomore. He came in from Tennessee. Played in all 12 games last season at Tennessee as a redshirt freshman. Didn't start him, but played in all of them. So he's starting to build on top of some experience. You got Joshua Braun at right guard, 6'6", 338 pounds. Redshirt senior that transferred from Florida in 2022. Started all 12 games for Arkansas in 2023, and he's a second-team All-SEC guy last year, according to the AP. So there's a good player. Right tackle, Amarion Harris, 6'7", 300 pounds. He's the baby because he's only 300 pounds. He's a redshirt sophomore. He played in 6 games last year. So this is a big group of dudes, man. They are almost 6'6" and 321 pounds on average across the board. It's got to be one of the biggest in the country. So a lot of beef up there to block for a lot of beef behind them. And this is a physically big team. I think no, Steve Sarkisian mentioned that about Florida, how they were definitely an SEC built team. I think offensively, certainly this Arkansas team, a really big team. Let's take a quick statistical look at this Arkansas offense. They're ranked 5th in total offense at 483 yards per game. They rank 11th in passing offense, 292 yards per game. 32nd in rushing offense at 191 yards per game. 34th scoring offense with 33 points a game. Here's where they got some problems. They're 106th in sacks allowed in the country. They've given up 25 sacks this season. They're 91st in turnovers lost. That's 15 on the season for Arkansas. Third down offense ranked 13th in the country, so they're really good. Almost 48% they convert. And then they're ranked 81st in the red zone at 83%. So not real great right there. And really, when you look at this across the board, there's a lot of spots where when you compare them to Texas's defense, something's going to have to break. Arkansas 5th in total offense, Texas 2nd in total defense. Arkansas 11th in passing offense, Texas 1st in passing defense. Rushing offense 32nd, Texas is 28th against the run in the country. Scoring offense, Arkansas 34th, Texas 4th, giving up only 12 points per game. I think you look at that sacks allowed rank. That's going to be a problem for Arkansas. It should be a problem for Arkansas. Texas 39th in the country with 21 sacks. Turnovers. Texas really good taking the ball away. They're 7th in the country with 20 takeaways. Their third down defense is ranked 13th, the same way Arkansas's third down offense is ranked 13th. Texas only giving up a conversion 30% of the time on third down. And then I think you look at that red zone defense. Texas is ranked 16th, only allowing scores tick over 73% of the time. And that's an area where Arkansas is pretty weak. So there's a lot of interesting sort of plot lines, I guess you would say, little storylines about this game. Texas has played really well on defense all season. But this Arkansas offense, man, they're pretty solid in a lot of spots. But obviously, though, you got those few areas of a concern if you're Arkansas. Turnovers, sacks, red zone defense, where Texas has a really clear advantage. So it'll be interesting to see how all of these little areas play out. I know I'll be interested to see. And whoever wins that, I think we haven't done defense yet, obviously, so we'll have to see some of the areas there. But I think you could go on the surface and say whoever breaks serve on a lot of these spots, whoever holds down the fort the most consistently in all of these areas probably wins this football game. Let's check tape a little bit on this Arkansas offense. Man, y'all know Bobby Petrino going to make y'all cover the whole field. You're going to have to be prepared for a lot of things. I didn't have a ton of time to dig into this, so this is all just Ole Miss film, but we see a lot of different stuff really early in this game. I only looked at the first half because they didn't have Taylon Green in the second half of this game. So I didn't necessarily think it would be fair to compare what they do with a second string to what they're going to do with a first stringer. So this is what they want to be. And assuming Taylon Green is healthy this weekend, this is what they're going to be. So let's check it out. Play number one, they kind of flip into a 5-wide look. They get a nice little flood deal on the top there. Nice, easy pitch and catch for a first down. Too easy. Then we move on to play number two. This is a pretty interesting blocking scheme. It's something you don't see a lot. I don't know if they're still – we did it in high school. Kind of a little cross block by the tackle and the guard on the play side here. To me, this is not something you call. Like, I don't think they're calling a play where these guys specifically do this. The way we did it was just a call between us. The guard, the tackle would communicate in a certain alignment. And in this case, I think what causes them to go with this is You see the left guard, he's got a 3-tech over the top of him. The defensive end's wide 9. So he probably makes a call to scheme into this cross block action. And that's all that means is the tackle blocks down, the guard steps back and kicks out on the defensive end. This play kind of gets blown up. Watch the 3-tech right at the snap, and I'll pause it. So here comes the snap. The 3-tech slams down into the A gap and basically takes on the center. That tackle that blocks down, he's trying to get into his hip and push him down, wash him down. He can't get to him, so he's going to move on up to the backside linebacker. The tight end moves up to the play side linebacker. The guard that stepped back to influence that 3-tech and kick out, he's hitting that end, but that end's crashing down. And really what happened, that 3-tech blew up the center trying to reach and pushed him back in the backfield, and that's what slowed this play down. But you just don't see that cross block action a lot, and you got to be, if you're a defensive tackle, you got to be sound there because that's not going to look right to you. Defensive tackles on a run play used to getting popped right in the mouth. And it'd be real easy to see that guy back up, get up the field, and get washed down away from the play side. So I think we might see, and we probably see this a lot anyway, the Texas defensive tackles, I think they'll be on the move a lot, especially in running downs. Those guys will be moving a lot to try to confuse some of this power blocking schemes that these Arkansas offensive linemen employ. Then you move on. You know, you've been getting a lot of pressure on Ole Miss. What do? We'll let you come. We're going to dump it right over the top. That's a nice screen pass. That would have been a big play. I think the running back just kind of guessed wrong on where the defender was going to be and where his offensive lineman could block. But I think something you got to be really careful with this Arkansas offense. You want to get pressure because Taylor Green not that great under pressure, and we'll show that in just a minute. But if you get too much pressure, they'll just dump it right over the top of you. The other thing, he's going to pull the ball and run some. So you want to make sure you're not giving him these gaping holes to run through when he does decide to take it down and run. This is another good answer that Bobby Petrino will have to pressure. If Texas starts to get a lot of pressure on Arkansas, you're going to see stuff like this. He's going to just roll him out. And watch the tight end at the bottom here. He's going to get just enough nick on that edge to slow him down, and he's just going to leak out. Easy throw and catch. Nice little gain to the tight end there. That's too easy. That's like junior high type stuff. That's like freshman year of high school. Get the guy on the run, block it just enough to keep him from getting killed, and then just leak out and catch a really simple, easy little pass for 8 or 9 yards. And that stuff will kill you, man. We lost a game my senior year of high school. One of the 3, I think. We lost 3 games in my senior year. Made it to the semis. But we lost one early season game to Henderson, Texas, and they ran the same little fullback out in the flat play probably 15 times in that game. And we could just not stop it. Our linebackers so keyed up for the run. And that's what happened there. The little play action kept the linebackers inside. He was able to get outside. Nobody covers the tight end. It's a simple little throw. It's too easy. And then here's another nice little wrinkle by this offense. So I really like, I don't know who the offensive line coach is for Arkansas, but I really like some of the stuff they do. When I first saw this play, I thought, there we go. Some old school power football with the counter action down in the red zone. But that's not what this was. This was not a counter play. Make sure when I roll this tape, you watch the running back. There is zero counter action. You do get the right side of the offensive line trying to wash everything down like it would be counter action. Watch the tight end. He's going to get an outstanding hook block and then wash his man down. And then watch who pulls. It's going to be the play side guard, not the backside guard, and the center. So watch this play as it develops. Pretty cool. I'll pause it throughout. All right, there's the snap. You see number 8 gets a great hook block. You see the big tackle on the right side already has his guy completely mushed down to where the center was. You see the back just taking sort of a delay handoff. There was no sidestep, no counteraction whatsoever. He was lined up in the pistol. And you saw the right guard and the center pull. Right guard's going to kick out on that free man at the bottom. That center is going to pull up through an ISO on that linebacker, and it is an easy walk-in touchdown for Arkansas. Didn't even get touched. Nice play, nice design. I love it. I've never seen, I don't think in my life, I don't think I've ever seen both the guard and the center on the play side pull on that type of look. I've seen guard and center pull on a toss sweep, but I've never seen that little ISO. That's a unique look, and it's designed to be that way. You get that linebacker, when a linebacker sees a guard right in front of him pull and then sees another puller, he's automatically thinking this is going outside. That's why guys in the passing game do so many of these false pulls the other direction. They just do a lot of stuff to confuse linebackers. So really cool design. I hate it because it's tricky. So Texas will have to be sound again this week defensively. No secret that this offense, it runs through Taylor Green, folks. He's a threat with his arm, but he's really a threat with his legs. One thing I did notice about him in this game, and it may not be to every game, and it may only be because they were backed up in the shadow of their own goalpost, but he got a little panicky under pressure here. Ole Miss is going to get pressure with 4 here. One of them is that left defensive tackle. He's going to get up the field a little bit. You're going to see Green immediately step back and just throw the ball away. Doesn't even try to do anything else. Kind of sort of panics. I'm not saying he had a lot of options. He definitely wasn't going backwards anymore. But he probably could have navigated that pocket a little bit and got out for a short gain. Very next play, Ole Miss plays a little mind game with him about where pressure's coming from. I'll pause it so you can see. We got 3 down linemen. We got a man off to the right, and we got a linebacker he's not completely up on the line, but he's definitely playing shallower than he normally would. So I think Taylor Green seeing this, he's like, oh crap, where's the pressure? Is it coming from all 5 guys? Is it coming from just 4? He really doesn't have a clue. They're down on the goal line, so there's not a lot of motion happening to tip him off. Ole Miss ends up rushing 4, but he doesn't feel it. And the play results in a sack fumble for an Ole Miss touchdown early in that game. There comes the linebacker. Boom. Ball's out. Fall on the ball. Touchdown, Ole Miss. So you can see if you can get pressure on him, especially with 4, because you give him that look of there's all these people to cover, but I'm feeling pressure. I think that's a good spot to put Taylor Green in if you're the Texas. I mean, it's a good spot to put any quarterback in. If you can get pressure with 4, man, that is tough. But when you give Taylor Green a little time and some space, check out what he can do. He's got a pretty solid arm. Watch this throw. That's a rocket, man. Nice little throw, little curl into the zone. Really solid throw. Nice run after the catch. Sets up their first score in this game. But here's where I'm really scared of Green. And I tweeted this. I tweeted this back during, I think it was the Tennessee game. Maybe been earlier than that. I tweeted out, man, I am sort of terrified of Taylor Green and his running ability. And a lot of people kind of blew it off. And man, I don't get it. Watch this, man. It's 1st and 15. They just have a penalty. He turns it into 2nd and 1 real quick on the zone read. Rides that a little bit right up the middle. Tell me that does not look, I mean, at least look. And I'm not saying he's Vince Young, but that's a long body. He's definitely not as fluid as Vince Young was. Probably not as fast. I'm just talking about the physical nature of his body. That looks a lot like a young Vince Young running this same type of offense back in the day at the University of Texas. Very next play, he's going to bust out the old triple option with no pitch man. by the way. Watch him fake this give to the dive right here. Boom, right there. He turns completely sideways. That is triple option 101. Just no pitch man. The pitch man's already out there. We're not going to pitch it to him anyway, but he gets bodies out of the box. He pulls it and off to the races he goes. He picks up 30 yards in 2 plays in a hurry. And that, unfortunately, the play he got hurt on. And I think that's the play where, ultimately he just couldn't go after the second half. They probably reevaluated him. I'm sure the pain, not fun. He bent his leg up under him pretty badly. So he's dangerous in the run game with his legs, but I also like him in the pass game. He's going to escape the pocket here and just kind of turn this play into a backyard football game. He's got a man wide open, gets him the ball pretty accurately right up the field. Nice little play right there. So Taylor Green, if he's successful, this offense is going to be really successful because he's kind of the guy it goes through. Final thoughts on this Arkansas offense. We showed it to you, folks. They're one of the best statistical offenses in the country. They got a really, really big offensive line, and they let them eat with power running schemes. Lots of pulling, lots of little misdirection, lots of little things you just don't see a lot in college football anymore. In the 90s, you saw all that type of stuff all the time. Think Green, the most athletic QB Texas has played this entire season, if he's 100% healthy. And a lot of people were, man, I'm scared. Is DJ Lagway playing? I want Texas to play the better players. It does you no good. It will do Texas no good to play an Arkansas team without 100% Taylor Green, or even a Taylor Green that maybe can't play or gets hurt. It does you no good. The score looks great. But what happens when you don't get that kind of luck? What happens when you have to play a guy that's really, really good and really, really dynamic like that? So I want Texas to play Taylor Green. They got a couple of really, really long wide receivers that, if you're a quarterback, makes accuracy maybe a little less important. Those guys catch radius a lot bigger than most guys. And I think these are probably guys that can go up and jump. I said a long time ago, and I will continue to say this. If I was a college football coach, I would go find guys that play high school football and high school basketball and are really tall, long, jumpy, jump out of the gym type guys in basketball. Because those guys, they just go get the ball. And I think those Arkansas guys are those type of guys. So Green can just kind of get the ball somewhere in the vicinity, and they're long enough and athletic enough to go find it and grab it, pull it in. We talked all last week when we talked about Florida's offense about how the pregame movement, the shifting, really mental tax on that Texas defense to just get lined up correctly. This week, I think it's going to be much tougher on them post snap in the mental game. Petrino's going to make you cover the whole field. He's going to give you a lot of little odd looks. He's got everything in his tool bag. I think he's got some chess pieces to use in the running game that can kind of keep you off balance. There's always that threat of something over the top if they can have success running the football. So this Arkansas offense, man, I got to be honest, they look tough. Kudos to those teams that have held them to not a lot. LSU did it, Tennessee did it. Texas A&M did it pretty well. I think they scored 17 on Texas A&M. So certainly this Texas defense, if they play well, is talented enough to I wouldn't say shut this Arkansas offense down, but I think they make it a lot more pedestrian than they look on paper. Again, if they show up and play well, which I don't really expect them not to, but I think the interesting thing, you can play well against a guy like Taylor Green for a lot of the game, and let's just say, you know, your offense isn't playing all that great for some reason. All it takes is one play with a guy like Taylor Green. So it'll be really important for Texas not only to play good defense, but to play good offense, play that complementary football we always hear Sark talk about. We'll be back on Thursday. We'll have our Trace Ultra Games picks for Week 12. We are 28-5 on the season, folks. I'm proud of that. And then, of course, we'll do the deep dive on the Arkansas defense. Find us on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube at Horn Takes. Give us a subscribe. Give us a follow. Won't cost you guys a single penny, but we sure appreciate the support. Email me at horntakespodcast@gmail.com with all your questions, comments, concerns, and criticisms. I love them all. Guys, have a good Tuesday. We're almost to Hump Day, which means we're almost to Longhorn Friday Eve, and it means we're almost to Longhorn Friday, which means we're almost to Texas football. This will be 11 a.m. kick, so we'll get some Texas football really early on Saturday. You guys get hooked.